All right, we are live. Welcome to another Sensei Chat. We got some updates from Jerome Powell. We're going to talk about how that could positively or negatively impact the market. I got a ton of other crypto updates for everybody. It's great to see all of you. And I wanted to spend some time here to answer some questions for you guys. So let's just check in and then we'll jump into the news here. We got Jim asking if we have a link. Jim, what do you need a link to, man? Mason Taylor's here. Kelly Red. What's up, Kelly Red? Well, that's unfortunate. Just confirmed what? I don't know what y'all are talking about up at the top there. All good. LEX is in the house. Ariana is in the house. Great to see you. Apache. Great to see you. What's up, Mark? Well, we'll talk about that. What's up, Jake? Aloha. How are you? Good to see you. Let's bring up the Fed Watch tool. We'll take a look here. Aloha. Great to see all of you. No says you're a little worried. What are you worried about? Let's talk about it. How many XRP you took in the dip? Like, how much did I buy? I only bought like $7,000 or $8,000 worth of XRP. You know, everything was happening so quickly. But I did increase my position. Game of Cats, great to see you. How's it going? You're worried about XRP? I can understand that. We'll talk about that. Edward says, hi from Australia. What's up, Edward? Good morning from Japan. Great to see you. Good morning. 100K. We got to 100K like I don't know, September 3rd, I think was the day we got to 100K. Oh, no, wasn't able to buy. I can understand that. All right, let's just jump right into some of this information, guys, and just give you an update here. If you like the information you are receiving, you can like the event. You can share the event on your timelines if that's something that you want to do to support the channel. But somebody was asking about, the Fed Watch and kind of where we are looking at for rates. So right now, it is predicted that we're going to do a 1/4 point rate cut tomorrow. And so we'll have to see here. Let me just jump into some of the things that were said today by Jerome Powell. So Powell said that the U.S. job market remains weak with low hiring and low firing, reflecting a slowdown in job creation despite steady consumer spending. He emphasizes that rising downside risks to unemployment now outweigh inflation risks. So basically, the Fed has a dual mandate, right? Employment, unemployment, and inflation. And right now they're more worried about unemployment than inflation. Rate cuts likely ahead. He confirmed that the Fed is on track to reduce interest rates again, upcoming. So 28th, 29th meeting. So this is a meeting that's happening at the end of the month with additional cut possible in December. So we're going to have one more Fed meeting in December and probably another 25 basis point cut. End of QT, Powell revealed that the balance sheet reduction program, commonly called as quantitative tightening, is likely to end. So it looks like, remember when kind of money was going crazy and the government was printing a lot of money, QE, quantitative easing is going to be coming back. And that should help markets realistically, right? Because not only you're making money cheaper, but you're also pumping money into the economy. Only issue, there's many issues with this, but one of them is going to be inflation, but that is something that we're going to have to deal with later in 26 probably. But this would halt the runoff of treasuries and mortgage-backed securities, injecting liquidity back into the financial system. So this is definitely something that will help in the short time. Economic balance. He reiterated that there's no risk-free path. The Fed navigates a trade-off between high inflation and a slowing labor market. Data challenges. Powell acknowledged that the government shutdown has delayed several official data releases, but private and partial reports provide enough guidance for the Fed's upcoming decisions. So a lot of things happening here. Just to give you some additional context, I wanted to just take a look at, is the Fed preparing QE? The answer is yes. The Federal Reserve is preparing to end quantitative tightening program and may transition to a new phase of monetary easing, potentially including quantitative easing, also known as QE. If the economic conditions weaken further, Jerome Powell's October 2025 remarks mark a major policy turning point, signaling the Fed is close to halting balance sheet reduction and setting a stage for renewed liquidity injections. I mean, you print more, you're just adding more to the debt. You can understand where we're going with this, right? Powell stated the Fed is likely to cease balance sheet runoff within months, having nearly reached the goal of maintaining ample reserves in the banking system. This effectively ends QT, which reduced the Fed's assets from $8.9 trillion in 2022 to roughly $6.6 trillion in mid-2025. Several Fed officials, including Philadelphia Fed Anna Paulson, has emphasized the need to protect the labor market, further hinting at easing measures such as rate cuts. Also, I think what Powell has done in March, I think he's done, right? And so it'll be interesting to see who goes into that job and what their role is going to be going forward. Is QE next? While Powell has not explicitly announced new QE, market analysts and investors interpret his language as opening the door to asset purchases if economic or financial instability rises. The Fed's transition from QT to balance sheet stabilization historically precedes QE phases. Should growth falter or credit conditions tighten, QE could be reintroduced to inject liquidity at lower term rates. Man, we'll have to see how this plays out. And then here is Jerome Powell answering a question. It was not a lot of people clipped this. It was a 45-minute chat. I didn't want to sit up here and play all of it. But here is one of the clips from the discussion today.
As I mentioned, there really isn't a risk-free path now, since it appears that inflation is running above our target, and appears to be continuing to increase quite gradually, but increase. It's still on the way up. So there's a risk there that would lend to greater persistence. But now the labor market has demonstrated pretty significant downside risks as payroll jobs have declined. And both the supply and demand for labor has declined quite sharply. So those two states of affairs for our two goal variables, call for different monetary policy responses. So as they come more into balance, I think the idea has been that policy should move from being tight to some degree to being more neutral as those two things balance out. But it is clear, though, that if we move too quickly, then we may leave the inflation job unfinished and have to come back later and finish it. If we move too slowly, there may be unnecessary losses, painful losses in the employment market. So,
man, this is just painful to listen to. It's 8 or 80, as my wife would say. I guess that is a term used in Brazil for one or the other. Let's see here. Mr. X says, how's it going, Sensei? I hope you're doing well, brother. You think the government shutdown will push the ETF date? So, hey, Mark. So yes and no. And why I say yes and no is I believed that when you have a government shutdown, there's not essential, non-essential, personnel working. We looked this up actually during the last chat, I think, and it would kind of said who is essential and who's not essential. And so the SEC is working with a reduced staff. And when Paul Barron interviewed me last week on Wednesday before the market crash, he told me that some of his contacts at the SEC, who are very high up, said that it might not affect the ETF. So on paper, yes, it should affect the dates of the ETF approvals, but Paul believed that things would still be getting approved. So it's impossible to know. We don't have a mole or somebody at the SEC filling out this information. But Paul seemed very open that we would see ETF approvals regardless of the shutdown or not. So I do not think that I don't think the two things are related, though. I don't think that, it's difficult when you don't have your full staff there to approve what needs to be approved. The SEC did make it easier for certain ETF products to be approved with the generic listing standards, and we've talked a lot about that the last few weeks. If there's already like a futures market for a cryptocurrency like XRP, you should be able to approve spot products with just the S1 form register. We've seen a lot of companies like Canary and Bitwise and all those filling in. Let me pull up. Let me see here. I had a lot of stuff about the economy, but I don't really want to touch on that yet. Hold on. XRP products, even. Hold on, I'm just loading in something really quickly. What have? Give me an update. I'm trying to get you an update. Give me an update on spot XRP filings. All right, let me see if we can pull this up and answer your question in direct real time here. 1 second here. So the SEC yet hasn't improved any spot products. Yes, we know this. SEC XRP approvals are pending, delayed the U.S. government shutdown. So this is saying no. Final decisions on several institutional spot ETF filings are expected the 18th and the 25th. Amended filings by key issuers suggest readiness for quick approval after the shutdown. So, it's really hard to say, right? Really hard to say. I'm hoping that it happens, but I expect the worst, right? Like, we can hope for the best, but we should always plan for the worst. And I think that's what you're seeing with the market right now. A lot of people are not sure if this is going to go up or if we're going to head back down. I think there's a lot of uneasiness that like a tweet or a misunderstanding could really send markets tumbling again. And I think people are a little worried about that. Let me see here. How do you get alert? How did I not get an alert from the live stream? Yeah, it's kind of weird that sometimes people don't get alerts, Tom. If you are subscribed and the bell notification is turned on, you should be able to get the alerts. If you're not, I'm very sorry about that. But thank you for being here. Let me see here. I'm just trying to take a look and see if there's some other comments here. Sensei, do you think XRP could get to $100 by the end of the year or early 2026? I mean, shoot, there's a lot of people that believe that's very possible. We would need a whole lot of things to go right in order for that to happen. Let's leave like Japan's carry trade. Let's leave that out of it. If we're just talking about fresh institutional demand for XRP, like the ETFs, you would need a lot of the supply to be kind of gobbled up. And like I've been thinking a lot about market cap multipliers, and right now I've spent like the last few hours this morning and some of the weekend and last weekend. I'm working on a video to really explain market cap multipliers, and I'm trying to track down where every XRP is, and it's such a difficult task. Ripple owns, in escrow, there's about 35 billion XRP. Ripple owns an additional like 6 to 7 billion XRP, so that's 42 billion. And then like trying to track which exchange, Chris Larson, Brad Garlinghouse, trying to track all these individuals who have XRP and like where it all is. I'm trying to get all of that data together so I can make a complete video and really kind of give you all of my thoughts on it. But you would need the supply of XRP to go below 1 billion to have that market cap multiplier really get into the hundreds or 200s and stay there. The issue you have is institutions, right? Listening to like Jake Claver, often I bring up because he has a lot of information about this, and he says that less than 2 billion XRP is owned by retail. Now, when I kind of search this stuff, I do think the number is a little bit higher, but let's just use Jake's number of 2 billion. Okay, Ripple has about 7 billion, 35 billion in escrow. The escrow is kind of, you can't do anything with the escrow. So Ripple has 7 billion, retail has 2 billion. It's 9 billion out of 59 billion. So where's the rest of the XRP? Who owns the rest of the XRP? And that answer is institutions, right? Or whales and institutions. The issue here is, what are the price targets that those whales or institutions are willing to sell XRP at, right? because that market cap multiplier is so large because you don't have a lot of liquidity. But what happens when the price rises? People are interested in selling. Okay. And institutions might not have the same plan that you or I have, where we are hoping that XRP goes, we want a $100, $500, $1,000, $10,000 XRP. That's what we want. And people are prepared to wait for that. Are institutions prepared to do that same amount of waiting? Or are they going to sell when it's high and then try to reback as it dips? Like that is, I think that's an issue with the overall theory for market cap multipliers. And I'm still working on all of my thoughts and research to put this video together. I've literally been working on this video for weeks, and it's not to a point yet where I feel that it's good enough. And once it gets there, I'll let everybody know. J-Dog, what's up, dude? Great to see you. Well, I understand that people believe it was Barron Trump. I haven't seen anything like to really say that it is him. I get that some of the trades done felt like insider information, and right now that's really hearsay. So, before we place blame and get frustrated, I think we need more data to understand what happened. But I can understand frustration, right? A lot of people lost a lot of money. And you know what? Let's talk a little bit about that, because I saw something today that kind of made my stomach turn a bit. And I just want to talk with you guys about it, because I think we need to just to discuss this. So if you're not familiar, when the whole market, the biggest liquidity event in crypto history, where 19 to $20 billion was lost, Binance played a very big role in having their systems completely fail. And since then, there's been a lot of pushback and frustration with Binance, right? The reason is, you claim to be the biggest exchange in the world. You are flaunting your billions of dollars and your wealth constantly, saying that Binance is the best. And then when it really comes down to it, the technology completely failed, right? And right before this market crash, CZ was promoting, meme coin, like he was promoting like all of this stuff, right? And insiders making tens of millions of dollars, yet retail are the ones who really got screwed. And so what Binance is doing here to try to save face is they're giving $400 million in recovery. So what I don't appreciate here is CZ's kind of saying talk is cheap. Like, we're actually doing something about it. It was your technology that failed. This is the bare minimum you should do. And you should be more humble about it, in my opinion. But everyone can think differently. I just didn't really like the way that he's handling this. But here you go. Talk is cheap. 283 million compensation at Binance, 45 million recovery airdrops on BNB chain, and 4 meme, I guess, and another 400 million recovery airdrop on Binance. And this is what I said. Binance technology and platform failures were a major cause of this crash. Instead of bragging about compensation, maybe let's focus on building resilient systems so users won't need reimbursement in the first place. How can users trust Binance won't experience another issue or failure? Despite billions in resources, these issues persist and trust is broken. Claiming to be a part of the solution feels hollow. I remain skeptical of your solution. So I just think that they need to really step it up, being the biggest exchange in the world. Sensei, do you think XRP will drop below $1 possibly again? Juice, hey man, it's hard to, I don't want to say never, right? I mean, there are so many things out of our control. It doesn't feel like it could, but like a lot of people didn't feel like it could go below $2 again, right? And if certain events happen, let's say there's an actual a reigniting of the trade war and tensions, or a war, or a black swan event, like all of these things could drop the market again, like we saw. So I don't want to say never, never, ever, but it's rare to have like two black, like huge mass liquidity events back to back like this, because you did flush out a lot of the leverage out of the system. And so maybe you're rebuilding and starting over, but it's hard to say, man. You know, I see your comment, Julius. You know, I'm not, I can't read that on here, but I understand your frustration. Quantitative, David Smith says quantitative easing is a theft from the taxpayer. I'm not going to argue against you, man. Not going to argue against you. Yeah, Binance is, I think Binance needs to step up. All right, let's do this. Let's jump back a little bit of news. I know people are passionate about their, you know, what they think, and we'll get into some of this here in just a little bit, but I do want to cover a few things here. So I like this clip here from Kyle Chase about the Great Reset. Let me go ahead and play this for you. We'll jump in.
This entire episode, from the tariff post to the flash crash, will be studied for years. It started with a miscommunication of Google Translate between world leaders that triggered $1 billion.
That is freaking crazy, right? First of all, why are you using Google Translate to translate anything? Don't we hire people that can speak the language and properly translate things to us? Oh, God.
Dollar insider trade and ended translate between world leaders that triggered $1 billion insider trade and ended with the largest leverage purge in crypto history. And in 72 hours, the market reset itself. A misunderstanding caused $2.5 trillion in global equity losses, 380 billion in crypto wiped out, and yet by Monday, the system will look healthier than before. That's evolution. Crypto just passed its biggest stress test yet. And if history rhymes, this might be the start of something much, much bigger. When you look at every metric, funding, leverage, RSI levels, open interest, and the institutional flows, everything screams reset. So as everyone debates manipulation or coincidence, the real story is what comes next. And that's all we really need to care about. The data says the foundation's stronger.
All right. He's placed music at the end of there. I can't play it, but I thought that was an interesting clip to play for you guys. Did anybody see this Larry Fink clip from earlier? Listen to this, right? Listen to this.
I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities, to bonds, across the board.
It's very loud here.
It is very loud.
But it's good. Capital's at work, Larry. You like that.
I love capital at work.
Yeah.
But there's $4.1 trillion of money in sitting globally in digital wallets. A lot of that money is outside the United States. If we could tokenize a ETF, you know, digitize that ETF, we could have investors who are just beginning to, you know, invest in markets through, let's say, crypto. They're investing in it, but now we could get them into the more traditional long-term retirement products. So we look at that as the next wave of opportunity for BlackRock over the next tens of years, as we start focusing, moving away from, you know, traditional financial assets by repotting them in a digital manner, and then having people stay in that digital ecosystem. Mm-hmm. They can have their cash, and we have the largest cash money market fund that's tokenized called BITL. You know, our Bitcoin IBIT is now over $100 billion.
$100 billion, I know, so from nothing not that long ago.
And 2 years ago, zero.
Yeah,
so
I know. Well, you weren't always a huge proponent of crypto, as we know.
You love it now. But I grow and learn.
I heard you say that.
All right. There's a lot of really interesting things talked about here. One of the issues that bigger institutions have right now is that younger people would, you know, and I recorded a video earlier and I said the same thing, and I was like, oh God, what do you consider younger people? Under what age? Like, am I still considered a young person? I don't know. But younger people are more interested, right? They relate more to digital assets and crypto. And I think larger institutions understand that if they can offer products through tokenization wrappers, they can ignite that younger audience to buy traditional assets as well as crypto assets. So I think there's a larger play here happening, and it does feel like they're starting to talk about this out loud now. And if you're paying attention, we know that all of this value is heading on chain. I know we all want this value to be on chain tomorrow, right? Today, But it is the evolution of the financial system, and nothing happens very quickly here. We do know from BlackRock and VanEck and Citibank and JP Morgan and Bank of America and Santander and HSBC and MUFG in Japan, like SBI, we know that all of the largest financial institutions have been preparing for this for years. And we are really at that point now where a lot of what we believed to be happening is starting to happen. And so it's really, really interesting. Scott, what's up, dude? Just got home from Oahu yesterday. Nice, Scott. It's great to see you, man. I'm glad you're doing better and you're home now. Really, really great to see. So Tom says Binance. Yeah, it's disappointing, Tom. It's disappointing to have you would think the biggest crypto exchanges in the world that have unlimited, like they're printing presses. They have like unlimited capital at this point and backing. You would think, like, how is decentralized infrastructure better? Like Hyperliquid, Uniswap, 1inch, right? These are all, infrastructures that didn't have a problem, that didn't go down, that allowed people to trade when pure panic and pandemonium was happening. Why can't these centralized systems work like that? And I think that's probably what we should be discussing here. Let me see here. A lot of comments. Great to see everybody here. Sensei, you're a cool cat. I appreciate you. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. Like, really, it means the world to me. All right, let's great to see you, Attila. How you doing? Always nice to see people coming back into the chat. Nobody sold XRP. Nobody sold XRP. It was a scam drop. We need that Clarity Act. I don't know if it was a scam drop. I think it was just systems failing. And there was definitely some bad actors taking advantage of, issues with the system. Is that going to change? You would hope. You would hope. Younger people or people under 50. Yeah. Is that right? I was like, oh God, am I considered a young person anymore? I don't think so. I think I'm middle-aged now, right? Oh man. Don't want to talk about it. JSV says, I like your commentary, but I found Jay Claver a lot of lies and a lot of things that has to be fact checked. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about that. I think the crypto space is evolving pretty quickly. And I think sometimes, like even myself, and I'll be the first to admit this, like my opinions on matters evolve as I get more data and information. And I hope that people can understand that nobody is perfect every time. And sometimes things get mixed up, and sometimes, you get excitement, you have thousands of people watching, and, you might mix some stuff up. But I don't think he's like, in my interactions with him, I've never experienced him purposely doing that. So I'm sorry that that's been your experience. And I don't think he's intentionally doing it, but I understand your frustration, man. I really do. Mason Tyler says, I'm 49. Guess I'm still in. Yeah, I think the overall chat here is 50 and under. Although anybody 50 and over is going to be like, whoa, dude, it needs to be 60 and under. Is 50,000 XRP enough or add more? Mac, I think 50,000 is a great bag, man. I think there's a lot of people that would love to have that. Just some words of wisdom. Never kind of disclose how much crypto you have. It does open you up to people targeting you online. And I know, like, we think maybe like our online presence is impenetrable. There's some really smart people out there. And if they really want to track you down and find you, they will. So, I do think it is, but just be careful. All right. Worry about you. Apache says, dude, I'm 61. I'm effing old. I love you, man. big pump once the government shutdown is over. It does feel like a lot of people are waiting for some clarity here. And it's just frustrating when we don't feel like we have a whole lot of power right now, and a lot of things are being decided for us, and we're just kind of, it's like I think everybody in here has experienced the car crash before. And a car crash, when it happens, you have no control. And if you are spinning out on a freeway or a road, you are just along for the ride. And I feel like in life, that's how we feel sometimes. We're just in that car spinning, and we don't know if we're going to hit a wall, if everything's going to be okay. But I do think that as far as crypto goes, the evolution of digital assets and the adoption that we are seeing right now with stablecoins is going to be a key driver over the next 5 to 10 years. And I think owning digital assets right now is probably one of the smartest things that you can do, right? I don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks or 2 months from now, right? We're just taking in data. We're trying to make, good decisions here, but I'm here for the overall length, however long this is going to take, whether it's end of this year, in 2026, 2028, 2030, I don't know, but I'm going to be here until we find out. All right. All right. You're as young as you feel. Age doesn't matter at all. I like that, Mr. X. I love that. How do we prevent Binance from doing it again? Like they need to invest in like infrastructure, and I don't know. I don't know if there's a simple answer to your question. I really don't. But I know that CZ is going to do and say anything that he can to make him look like they're in a good light. I don't know, man. Doesn't feel good. Sorry to hear that, Lewis. Sorry to hear that. I was trying to think of a way to kind of explain kind of the helplessness that you feel when you're in that moment and you have no control. Maybe that was a bad example, but sorry about that. We will be rich in 2 months. Curtis, I like that. What's going to happen in 2 months, Curtis? Is this the carry trade unwind? Is this oil? Is this tether collapsing? What is it? Yeah, I don't think he's going to jail anytime soon, man. Anybody in the crypto industry with enough money right now is not going to jail for anything. I hate to break it to you, but you can pretty much buy your way out of anything right now if you have enough money. Sorry. Cartel-backed meme coins. Is that a real thing? Is that a real thing, Johnny? Let me just see, man. I've never heard of that. Is cartel-backed meme coins a real thing? Like drug cartel? I don't even know, man. This is kind of crazy. I've never heard of this. No verified evidence. I don't know, man. Drug cartels are pretty innovative, and they have enough money to spend on technology. And if they have a better way to launder money, I'm sure I wouldn't put it past those people. Like pretty smart people, man. You got to be to run, $100 billion empire. So let's see. Alkeet says, hey, Sensei, where is the law in this situation? How come the SEC is not on his ass for fraud? When things happen, and I'm not an investigator, I'm not an attorney, I'm not any of that. Okay. But I do know that the wheels of justice move very slow. And when something happens, you have to build a case. Like, can you from the outside see that they did something wrong and they did it intentionally? Like that's hard to prove. And you need, inside witnesses, you need all kinds of things. And if there was something that was wrong, right, then they need to investigate that. And investigations, unfortunately, take time. And I would imagine you'll hear something maybe in 2026. Sometimes it's years later before we even hear charges or anything like that. So I wouldn't expect anything soon, man. I really wouldn't. Matt says, back in the day, cartel was using Bitcoin, probably still are. I mean, I would imagine, dude, like, is it safer to give someone a duffel bag of cash? Is it safer to give somebody a flash drive, right? What's easier to smuggle, a flash drive or what's called? The issue you have is how do you get that from the crypto market into like a bank account? And I'm sure they have bankers, some bank somewhere that are willing to, obviously we're just speculating here, but I think we can all kind of know how that goes, right? Richard, it sounds like we're getting 2 more rate cuts this year. We're going to get one at the end of the October. I think it was like the 29th and 30th was the date that I read. And then we're going to probably get one in December. And obviously, if things get worse by now in December, it could be a bigger rate cut, but I would imagine it's a quarter point. But obviously that could change. And Tails from the Unexpected says, don't forget to hit the like button. I appreciate the support. I think Daniel might be listening to when I was talking about XRP earlier. All right, here. There's a few other things that we should probably discuss here. So it looks like 15 billion Bitwise Matt Hogan. The real story of crypto is just slow-moving freight train of institutional investment. Let me go ahead and play this. I thought this was a great clip for you guys.
What's on the horizon? Maybe some government, maybe finally getting some domestic regulation or clarity on what it's going to look like. What's next for Bitcoin?
So for a short-term catalyst, for sure, progress on the Clarity Act in Congress, if we see that, if the government reopens, would be positive for crypto. But the real bull story for crypto is just the slow-moving freight train of institutional investment. I've probably done a half dozen meetings with institutional investors and financial advisors over the last 2 days. None of them talked about what happened over the weekend. None of them talked about the liquidations Melton talked about. They talked about this need to get exposure to crypto. They're currently on 0. They're going to 5%. That's the big story. It's a slow-moving bull market, but it's a very strong long-term bull market from my view.
Interesting. So really quickly, just to give you some perspective here, what he's talking about is over the last maybe like 5 years, okay, institutions have not put in as much money into the crypto asset or have not told their clients to invest heavily into crypto because it was not regulated, okay, especially here in the United States. Now that we have the Genius Act, which was signed into law, and that's some laws around stable coins and other things, right? That helped. And we know that the Clarity Act is coming, which basically will give, who the SEC does this, the CFTC does this, these crypto assets fill in this bucket, these crypto assets fit in this bucket. It lays out the groundwork of what laws and regulations and rulemaking will be around the crypto industry, okay? Now, institutions are finally telling their customers, hey, it's time, okay? And so where people didn't have any money invested in the crypto space before, now they're going to allocate 2%, 4%, 5%. Some people will allocate even more to the crypto industry, okay? And you're talking about, dozens of trillions of dollars. Here, let's pull this up, right? Let me see here. So let me go into insurance companies. This should pull up. Let me see. Yes, here, check this out. So just to give you, and I've shown this in the past, but this speaks to a larger thing of what we're talking about here. This is how much money is actually floating around. It's quite a big breakdown. So here's the calculation. Insurance companies have about 8.5 trillion. Hedge funds are 5.2 trillion. Pension funds, this is the biggest one, $56 trillion. Okay. Brokerage firms, 40 trillion. Endowments, about 0.87 trillion. So about 870 billion. Banks have about 22 trillion on hand. Sovereign wealth is about 9.6 trillion, and family offices is 5.5. This is $148 trillion. So you can imagine getting 2% or 5% of that amount of money, right, coming into the crypto space, what that could do to our industry. And that's what we're really talking about here, is a massive wave of institutional money coming from the crypto space. Now, how long does all of that money take to get into the market? We're going to find out pretty quickly, right? We're going to find out over the next 6 to 12 months, 24 months, but it is on the way. So yeah, you got to be careful on leverage, guys. You just got to be careful. So listen, I cannot speak for Jake. He has his own theories and everything like that. I do want to like stress that a lot of his theories have to do with, certain events, catalysts happening that would cause certain markets to pretty much fall apart. And then investors would seek safety into certain crypto assets like XRP. Now, if those events don't play out, you're really only talking about maybe a $10 to $15 XRP, as I think Jake was saying, by the end of the year. Like if you go listen to his clips, and I'm sure some of you do, you'll know that if you take out like a reverse carry trade, if you take out Tether collapsing and Bitcoin, that really we're talking about, $10 to $15 maybe is what he said. So, I don't know, man. Hard to say he's lost his mind. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. And give the man credit for putting it out there. I don't always see eye to eye with what he says, but the crazy part is, like, I was talking to a friend earlier, and the domino theory isn't Jake Claver's theory, but he made it his theory, right? That was talked about for a long time before him. But if you talk about the reverse carry trade, now people say, oh, Jake Claver's theory, right? So, man, he did a good job with that. He did a really good job. Do you feel we overlook Ripple Swell as a catalyst? Absolutely not. I mean, there's always big announcements that come out of Swell. And if you take a look at the people at Swell, right, institutions at Swell, it's pretty insane. It's pretty insane. I mean, you have like Ryan Rugg from Citi will be there. Let's pull it up, man. Hard to remember everybody from memory. Just give me 1 second. Let me pull this up here. I know somebody's got to have it, right? Here we go. Well, this is not a great picture. Let me just do this. Ripple Swell 2025 speakers. There we go. This is what I wanted. All right. So, of course, we have Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson. Cool, right? Adina Friedman. This is the chair and CEO of NASDAQ, right? She was the one that came out a few weeks ago and said that the future of settlement for the stock market will be blockchain, right? That's who this is. She's going to be there. Of course, Monica Long's there. You have the chief product and innovation officer of BNY Mellon, right? $55.8 trillion custody bank, right? The biggest bank in the entire world as far as custody goes, BNY. Looks like this gentleman is a humanitarian. You also have Sandy Call, that she's from Franklin Templeton. She's had a lot of interesting clips that I've played lately. You have Ryan Rugg here, global head of digital assets and treasuries to trade solutions at Citibank. She's a big deal. You have BlackRock, Maxwell Stein, head of Fidelity, digital asset management at Fidelity. You have Hunter Horsley, the CEO of Bitwise. I mean, this is just the who, right? You have one of the heads of CME Group, Hidden Road, of course. JP Morgan, head of markets and digital assets at JP Morgan. You have the managing director of Moody's Investor Services. Let's see here. This gentleman's from State Street, managing director, head of digital strategy. You have somebody from Ava Labs founder of Ava Labs. This gentleman is from XTX Markets. Somebody from DBS Bank, managing director and head of digital assets at DBS Bank. Stuart Alderati, cool. You have Ashish Burla. You have Jeff Longhofer. He's the chief information security officer at Coinbase. Bitnominal. I don't know who that guy is. Canary Capital, Stephen McClure. You often hear this guy being interviewed by Paul Barron, talking about he believes in the first day you could see billions of inflows into spot XRP ETF products. He could be right. We'll have to see if it plays out. He did double down on those statements. You have somebody here from the European Parliament. Okay. What's somebody doing for the European Parliament there? All right. And Jack McDonald here. You have somebody here from founder and CEO of Digital Self Labs LLC. Not sure what that is. Atlantic Council, Blockchain Association. Somebody from OKX. Someone from Amina Bank, Ripple partner, European policy director, Ripple chairman of CNV Argentina. I mean, there's a pretty impressive list, right? This is a pretty impressive list of people. I do apologize. I should have checked that. But here's the CEO of NASDAQ, BNY Mellon, Sandy Call, Franklin Templeton. I'm sorry about that, guys. I thought I was sharing the screen. Let me pull this down here. So yeah, Ripple Swell could be a huge event. Is Flair going to be at Swell? I haven't seen anybody, but I'd imagine somebody, will be there. I just don't know who. How many of those people are on the EP list? What is the EP list? Oh, wait. Is that what I think it is? No. I hope it's not what I think it is. I hope it's not what I think it is. I think the bet was like 4,300 XRP or something. Something like that. I mean, if XRP is at $3, you lose 10 grand. But how much money have you made from that, right? Just the marketing and the views and the interviews and like kind of brilliant. It is kind of brilliant. Yeah, that's what I thought he was talking about. Yeah. I wasn't gonna say that. Nope. Sorry. Not gonna do that. Now, there's people speculating here that Citibank, Citibank is making some announcement here about custody. Citi eyes 2026 crypto custody launch after years of quiet development. Now, there's people that speculate that this could have be something to do with Ripple. I don't know about that. Like that's a hard leap. That's a hard leap. It would be really cool to hear and see that. But I don't know, man. You would think a bank like Citibank could afford their own custody solutions. Now, Citi is or was partnered with Medico is like 2023, I think, right? 2024. I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out. No, I don't think they're going to burn escrow, dude. That would no. Like, would you burn $100 billion? Why? You got to think of it from a strategic standpoint. Like the smarter play, what a way that you could do this is just say that all escrowed XRP that is not already, if there's not already a purchase contract on that XRP, that XRP would be, they would use that to fund the bank, right? That they would just lock that XRP up forever. You don't burn it. You would just take it out of the supply somehow, put it into a, some type of escrow. But I don't see them burning it. You wouldn't burn $100 billion. It's $100 billion today. Like if XRP is $10 or $20 or $100, you're talking about burning trillions of dollars. I don't know any company that no, I don't think so. Ripple wants to become a lender of last resort. They want to be like an IMF, right? We've heard that before. And the way that you become an IMF is you're able to lend countries, right, money, give them stability when they need it. And the only way you're able to do that is if you have the money to give, right? The loans and those types of things. They're not going to burn the money. Yeah, it would be pretty stupid to have that crypto on hand. Yeah, it would be really stupid, right? Like, because you're out there talking about how much XRP you currently have, right, under management. You would think somebody somewhere is looking at that and saying, whoa, pretty crazy. The gas is never going to do anything for us, dude. No. The burn mechanism on XRP, we've done the math here. We've looked at this a bunch of different times on the channel. If every transaction happened on the XRP ledger, you would still only burn through 30 or 40 million XRP per year. That's if every transaction happened on the XRP ledger. The only way that would change if they were able to change the burn mechanism and started burning more. I'm not a engineer or a developer on the XRP ledger. I don't even know You know what? We could probably search that though, couldn't we? All right, let's search it. Let's search it. Can the burn? Let's see. The burn mechanism of the XRP ledger can be changed, but only through a formal amendment process. So they would need to have an amendment. It would need to be voted on, right? They would need 80%. And then for 2 weeks, and then that it could be implemented. But as of right now, it's not going to do anything. Like anything. Let's see. Johnny Naka says, thanks for your work, Sensei. It's a bit frustrating seeing these creep jerks, everyone with absolutely no accountability, would not hesitate to throw us under the jail. Yeah, Johnny, unfortunately, that's how it is for a lot of people. You know, it doesn't feel like, it doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't feel like our voices are heard, right? It's the special interest groups. It's the lobbyists. It's the corporations. It's the financial institutions. Those feel like those are the people in charge. Those are the people with voices. And I understand your frustration, and I get it. You know, I don't know if it's going to change. I don't know if it's going to get better. It sure doesn't feel like it is. And I think that's part of why people are so invested in learning and investing into the crypto market, because, you know, if you're stuck in this debt cycle where, you know, you're constantly being bombarded by all of these bills and these interest rates and these credit card payments, you know, you are stuck in life, and it's very hard to get out of that place. And I know the pain, and I know the frustration, and I know the scariness of not knowing where your next check's going to come from, right? And I get it. Like, it's not a good feeling. And we all want to get out of this cycle that we are in. And the best way to do that is to make money. And in history, we've seen that the biggest ways, or the most impactful ways people have turned a little bit of money into a lot of money, is through investing in technology. And I think we just need to understand here that most of this technology that we're investing in right now, a lot of it is not going to make it. Okay. There are hundreds of thousands, millions of crypto projects, right? Let's forget the meme tokens and the community tokens that make up a lot of the numbers of the crypto market. Let's just say there's 10,000 real crypto projects. Okay. The issue is there is not 10,000 use cases. And most of those crypto projects, those companies, are all competing for a share of AI, real world assets, right? Tokenization of some kind, you know, GameFi, whatever it is, NFTs, whatever the topic of crypto is, right? You have crypto as a whole, and you have all of these subcategories, right? And there's only so many use cases for all of these. Internet of Things is another example. Most of these companies won't make it. Only a few of these companies are going to make it through this, okay? You need to be looking at, does this company have a runway? Do they have technology that people are actually paying for? Is there a growth strategy? Who is working for the company? Like, are they hiring? Are they letting people go? Right? Is there a problem or a flaw with their tech? Like, these are all things that we need to be thinking about as investors in the crypto space. And if some of these things are a little bit beyond you, the best thing you could do is talk with some type of financial advisor. And I know you hear that a lot, but it's not a crazy idea. It's not a crazy piece of advice. Like, if you are going to be investing a lot of money into the crypto market and you're not familiar with some of this stuff, spending $500 or whatever it's going to cost to have a conversation with somebody that knows what they're doing, that could be more valuable than people think. So, don't rule those types of things out. Find somebody really, really smart that knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about, and is well qualified. And that could set you up for making some really, really good decisions. Jay says, our political leaders have not listened to us since Citizens United passed. We need a peaceful resolution in the States. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way, Jay. I think a lot of people feel that way. Could you see Ripple going public? So I can only tell you what I've heard from like Brad Garlinghouse and those types of people. I know Brad has publicly said that going public wasn't a top priority for Ripple. Usually a company goes public because they need to raise money, right? And Ripple doesn't need to raise money. Will they go public eventually? I'm sure. I'm sure that's a priority for them. I think they can do more as a private company. They don't have to report to shareholders and those types. Like, I'd imagine some of the stuff they have to, but like going from a private company to a public company, there's a whole different host of things that you probably have to do with reporting and including some other people in the decision making. Ripple can do a lot of things kind of stealthy right now that they might not be able to do if they're a publicly traded company. So just some food for thought. AKA Scarface, thank you so much for the donation. Luna, thanks you, man. Appreciate you. Ripple is going to need XRP's price to be substantial enough for banks to start utilizing. All they have to do is not put any of the escrow onto the market to cause a shortage, driving up price. Well, like that all sounds good. So I can tell you that over the in 2025, right? And I looked at 2024, I looked at 2025. In 2024, you saw about 80% of the supply being relocked, which means every month 1 billion XRP gets released from escrow. And usually about 800 million of the 1 billion was relocked up into escrow for the next cycle. Okay. Now, fast forward to 2025. As of like a month or two ago, I looked at every month, 70% of supply was being relocked up, and only 30% was being reintroduced. So I don't know if they're purposely going 70, 70, 70, and next year it'll be 60, 60, 60. That's something I'll be looking out for. Another thing that comes to mind when we're just talking about this subject is a lot of people believe that all escrowed XRP is already spoken for. I don't agree with that opinion. The reason is simply if it was spoken for, it would be sent to who bought it, right? Or who is it spoken for? If you're a financial institution and you have paid for something and you have a date when that something's going to get unlocked, you're not like, hey, go ahead and relock that up for another, 4 years. You're like, I want that. Like, I want control of that. I want to be able to decide what happens to that. Okay. So when Ripple relocks 70%, you start to think like, is this strategic? Is this already, is this like, what is going on there? Like, let me see if I can actually, let me see if I can show you what I mean here. Let me show you what I mean. Let's look at every single month in 2024 and 2025 of Ripple escrow. How much was unlocked and how much was relocked up in escrow? Relocked up in escrow. Let's just take a look here. I'm just going to lower this, AK Scarface, but listen, man, thank you so much for the donation. I really do appreciate you, man. Thank you for your support always. All right. Here you go. Kind of what I told you, right? For example, a routine month like October 2024 saw 1 billion XRP unlocked with 800 million, 80% immediately relocked into escrow, leaving about 200 million XRP accessible. Throughout the years, the typical unused amount returned to escrow has ranged from 650 to 800 million per month, indicating that 200 to 350 million on average was released. There were months where atypically activities such as smaller, irregular unlocks, 500 million, 300 million, or larger unscheduled unlocks disrupting the normal schedule in mid-late 2025. July 2025 saw an unlock of 500 million XRP with 400 million XRP being relocked. So like, here you go. Here's an example. In July of this year, just a few months ago, right? Unlocked, there was 500 million unlocked, 400 million locked right back up right away. So if this was spoken for, why isn't it spoken for? Right? Here was one of the months that was a little bit more. So this is unlocked XRP, and then this is relocked. So this is unlock category all here, and this is relocked. Okay, so this is what you're looking at. Here's the months on the left, and here's some notes here as well. So most of this XRP is being relocked up. You start to wonder if it really is spoken for, why isn't it going to those places? So I don't know, man. Steph, what's up? Thanks for joining us. Steph from X says they are aligned with ISO 20022. So when you say they are aligned, what you're really talking about is RippleNet, right? RippleNet is ISO 20022 compliant. And through RippleNet, you can use XRP, right? Thank you for your comment. You guys are too funny, man. Let's see here. Guillermo says, good to see you, man. You are awesome. Thank you for your work. All you do for XRP community. As a banker for 4 years, for one of the big four, all I can say is hold. XRP Army, let's go. Man, that is truly incredible. Thank you for your support, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the comment. There you go, guys. You know, there are people all over the world that know kind of what we know, right? They know probably a little more than what we know. And I feel that by this point, we have done the research and we understand what's coming. And we don't quite know how it's all going to turn out. But we do know that the evolution of finance, the next step here is blockchain technology. And we do know that Ripple is the largest blockchain infrastructure company on the planet. We do know that Ripple keeps expanding, right? They already control a pretty decent share of the business-to-business stablecoin market. They are partnered with the largest financial institutions in the world, and they have some of the smartest, most well-connected, intelligent people working for them. This isn't very hard when you look at all of the data, right? This is all, we're all making an educated guess on the information that we're taking in. Great to have you here, Guillermo. Thank you for your comment, man. If they became a bank, would they want to go public? That's a tough question, Steph. I don't think one has to do with the other. Like, I think they could become a bank and not be public, right? Those are different entities. Like Ripple, the company, and Ripple Bank are probably going to be different entities, right? That way, if something happens to one, it doesn't affect the other. But it is a Ripple, it is a Ripple subsidiary. We could take a look at that. We could deep dive. I'll put some time into better understanding that and make a video. Let's see here. How far is the bottom? Sebastian's here. What's up, Sebastian? Great to see you, man. Richard Jones asking about ZBIC. Listen, I'm not a holder, but I know there's a lot of really passionate people that like ZBIC. Personally for me, I'd rather buy more XRP and more some of these other assets that I'm interested in over ZBIC. But I know there's a lot of, holders, and man, I hope you make a ton of money, man. I really do. I love that. Jay, that is one of the things that I am seeing a lot of people starting to talk about. Crazy stuff, man. Tom says, Sensei, have you seen Martin Lucas's video from Sunday? I'd love to see your take on that. Great content. Tom, I have not. Martin Lucas. Let's see who Martin Lucas is. Is this a YouTube person? Martin Lucas. Let's take a look here. Let's pull this up on screen. Let's make sure I'm sharing my screen. Martin Lucas. I'd imagine that this is the person you're talking about, Martin Lucas, investor. Let's see here. 10 days ago. You know what, Tom? Will you send me the video that you're talking about? I don't know which one specifically you're talking about. My email should be in the description of this video. Can you email me the video and I'll take a look at it, and then maybe when we come back on Friday, we can talk about it. Yeah, Jay, I hear what you're saying, man. It is a little strange. It is a little strange. I feel like I'd love to get this done and over with, right? Like, people deserve to know, especially all the stuff that happened around it. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, man. Jay says the Gemini XRP card is doing right by me for passive staking XRP. I funnel everything through that bad boy. Man, love to hear that, bro. Yeah, it seems like they have a really good product there and a lot of people are enjoying it. So that's great to know, dude. Crypto Revenge checking in. What's up, dude? Thank you for your membership on the channel. He says, I totally believe in XRP. Bitcoin would never survive without it. Spicy, man. I like it. I like it, dude. Oh, snap. Look who joined us. Blackhawk. Oh, wow. Great to see you, Blackhawk. Tyler says XRP is great and all, but I feel in the moment to and buy in price you're not in before. Crow will make you a lot of money. I think there's a lot of assets in the crypto space that are making a lot of money right now. A lot of people like Crow, XLM, HBAR, ADA, Flare. You know, there's a lot of great utility out there that I think people are gobbling up. Bold. I mean, you know, is it crazy? Listen, one of the things about Jake is people say that he's well connected, that he has inside information, that he has NDAs, right? And things he can't talk about. So if he's only buying XRP and he's talking with a lot of these insiders, you know, at least he's putting his money where his mouth is. You know, I don't see anything wrong with somebody having a favorite, you know, especially if they have knowledge outside of our normal understanding of stuff. You know, is it a smart thing to have all of your money into one thing? I guess it depends if that one thing is you know, is adopted on a massive scale globally and it turns you into a billionaire. I guess we'll find out, right? We'll know in maybe a few months or a few years if that was the smart thing or if it wasn't. Right? I think Jake will be fine, man. I think he'll be fine. Yeah, Big Kahuna, that was a lot of fun, man. Wow. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the Paul Barron interview was out. I didn't even know. Like, they didn't even tell me. You know, I was like, okay, I'll just wait. I think because the crash. Hold on, let me just bring this up here. I think because the crash, like they didn't. Oh God, where is it? Hold on. Oh,
let's dive into Ethereum today and our whale.
Oh my God, that scared the crap out of me. Oh. All right, hold on one second. You know what? I sent it to my mom. Here it is. I got it. That scared the crap out of me. Holy smokes. All right.
And today is going to be fun.
Yeah, if you guys didn't see this, Jay Clay, excuse me. God, I'm so used to saying that name now. Paul Barron interviewed me last week before the meltdown, right? Before the liquidity event. And I just want to say it was an absolute honor. It was an absolute honor to be on Paul's show. Paul, man, that guy, he knows this stuff. Like, he's very impressive. I've interviewed a lot of people and I have been interviewed by a handful of decently smart individuals, and I was really blown away with his knowledge about everything. And it was a big accomplishment for me. I was really proud of that, and I hope you guys got something out of it. If you guys haven't watched the interview, I'd appreciate it if you guys could do that. If you could go and take a look, man. I'd really appreciate your support. I've been trying to respond to almost every comment. It's got about 29,000 views. If you haven't seen it, please, watch it. Let me know what you think. Big Shrimp is here. Great to see you, Big Shrimp. Always nice to see you, dude. Thank you, Ariana. Let's give it up for Ariana, man. I couldn't do any of this stuff without her. She's incredible. I appreciate her all so much. Blackhawk's been busy. He's counting his hundreds. Schmidt says, I hope he's right. Yeah, me too, Schmidt. I think we're all hoping, man. I think we're all hoping we're right. I don't know. I'm trying to imagine, I'm trying to be logical about this. If the world is moving to this technology, and you have a company that is somehow in central bank meetings, is working with dozens of central banks on pilots, is connected into financial market infrastructure for SEPA, right? Single Euro payments area. They're connected into TIPS, Target Instant Payment System. They're connected into FedNow, right? FedWire, Temenos. There's ACI. We could start listing off all of the connections, and it's just truly mind-boggling. It's pretty crazy. What are you doing? Come on, we're not done yet. It's only been an hour. Here, I'll show you what I'm dealing with here. Let me see. Oh, maybe not. Oh, she's coming back. All right, we're good. Luna sits in the hallway and she stares at me. She's like, time to go. She tries to get me to. Anyway. So CryptoVenture says, I still love Perplexity ever since you recommended it to me, Sensei. I mean, it has everything you need. Yeah, dude. People kind of mess with me sometimes for using it so much, but I don't know. I think it's really helped me explain a lot and educate people a lot. And I use it for almost anything right now. If my friend says something crazy and I want to be like, was that real? Is my friend just messing with me? Does he not know? I will fact check stuff in real time. I just think it's a lot of fun, man, having all of that power and knowledge. I mean, shoot, it's crazy, dude. Curtis says Jake will be working with Ripple. On what? They don't need his liquidity, obviously. What is Perplexity? Perplexity is an AI. Here. So you can go to perplexity.ai and you can use it. It has a bunch of different models in here. You can search, you can do research, you can do all kinds of things. You can choose different models. So if you're using if you like ChatGPT, if you like Grok, you can pretty much select where what you want to use. I have Perplexity Max. This is about $200 a month, but they have the starter one. I think is $20 a month. It's great, man. The Gudge. What's up, Gudge? Nice to see you. Hope I said that right. I sent you the link, Sensei Tom. Thank you, Tom. I'll check it out, man. I will, dude. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. So Nadine, thank you for being here. Nadine Barton says, can you do a video on Web3 decentralized wallets? Everyone is talking about it. I am so confused on which wallet to use now. So, I can do a video, but are we talking about cold storage wallets? Are we talking about like your MetaMasks or your Phantoms? Are you talking about, you know, DeFi wallets being able to trade on Uniswap and those types of things? Or are you talking about kind of more storage, cold storage wallets for your XRP, your Bitcoin, Ethereum, that type of stuff? Let me know, Nadine, and I can kind of give you a little bit of insight and go from there. The Versatile, you still thinking $20 to $30 XRP by the end of the year? I think it's very possible. Very possible. 10x from where we are right now. I'd imagine that there are institutions that are very interested in selling XRP at, you know, $20, $25. I can't imagine those institutions are going to sit on a $50 XRP. So I think you will get a market cap multiplier. I think, you know, if ETFs do get full approval and you get billions of demand very quickly, I think you could definitely see a price spike for XRP where you could get to those numbers. I truly believe that. Is that going to play out though? I have no control, right? I have no control. If Jake is right and institutions own, you know, if retail only owns 2 billion XRP, that means institutions own the rest of it. Okay. And institutions are not you and I. They're not interested. Like, of course they'd be interested in $1,000 XRP, but that's like, they're here to make money now. Some of the XRP, they might say, hey, we're going to hold this long-term, but institutions are here to make money for their customers and themselves. And if they have an ability to make billions of dollars very quickly, I think they're going to sit and hold. It's hard for me to imagine. Hard for me to imagine that. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate you. Really quickly, if you're not familiar, any donations go to buying Luna, my dog, some treats. We buy her some really high quality, all natural treats from the dog store here. And I appreciate all the donations. You know, I've asked Jake for an interview. Hasn't really wanted to do that. I wanted to talk with him about some of his ideas and really kind of lay it out for the community. He hasn't wanted to take me up on that. So, you know, see, the crazy part is, like, you know, you get a lot of people who are educated about the topic, but I think I would be a pretty good person to, you know, have a discussion. I also reached out to Mikkel and asked him if he would do an interview, because I think we have some crossed opinions on XRP, and he doesn't want to do it either. So there's something going on with them, right? Because they all work together. I don't know what it is, but not very interested in doing an interview type. Let's see here, Scott. What about you? What about Hash? Crypto, what about Hash? Do you know anything about it? Jake owns $3,000 worth of it, has only XRP. Hash? Talk about Hash Graph? What are we talking about? Growing market cap. Hash. Hash AI? Maybe it's Hash AI. I don't know, Scott. You'd have to ask Jake, dude. Yeah, so actually I did a recent video on Decent. Like, I'm pretty impressed with Decent. Did Nadine say something and I missed it? All of the above. So Tom, listen, Luna's eating really good this week because of you. If you're not familiar, Tom gave like $50 last week in donations, and we got 3 different things for her, like grass-fed beef jerky. We got some papaya, God, what is it? Like papaya chicken shred thing and some salmon. Like she got hooked up for you, Tom. Thank you so much. I hope your Luna's doing good too. So Nadine, listen, if you're going to be interacting with decentralized protocols, you're going to need a wallet like a MetaMask, you know, or a Phantom wallet, or one of these kind of, you know, Web3 integration wallets. The reason I don't like to use a Decent or a Ledger wallet to interact with DeFi protocols is usually when you're using a DeFi protocol, you're buying something pretty early. And often there's a lot of competition between people buying something early. And if you have to like manually approve a transaction in your wallet and put in the passcode and wait and all that stuff, it does eat away at maybe your position and where you're buying in it. If you're not trading in DeFi and you're not connecting to some of these platforms, you probably will need like a mobile phone wallet, which, you know, are cheap. But if you lose your phone and you lose that piece of paper, you could be in some trouble. Most people feel secure with cold storage wallets. Those are Ledger, Decent, Treasure, IllyPal. I mean, there's a handful of people wallets that people really like. And you know, here, I'll give you an example. Hold on. Stay there. All right. So Ledger recently sent me 2 wallets. They sent me a Nano Plus, right? And then they sent me a Ledger Flex, which is kind of cool. It's a screen. It kind of feels like a old iPod, but in black and white. And they actually have a better version of this. I think it's called Stacks. That it's like a, you know, color screen and everything. So I'm gonna be opening these up here over the next few days, playing around with them. You know, just kind of getting a feel for some of these wallets. But these are the types of wallets that people feel, you know, are going to protect their crypto long term. So not yet. Come on back. Let's see here. We got another donation here. Tom, for Luna Treats, great job killing it in the Paul Barron interview. You were nervous for nothing. My question is, what do you think about ICP? It's the only thing killing in my portfolio. Let's bring up ICP, Tom. Let's take a look at it, dude. So you had the crash here. Did you pick some up on discount at 240? So, so really quickly, Tom, I am not, listen, I appreciate the donation and thank you for the support and thank you for the kind words on the interview. I am not the right person to ask about ICP. I don't know anything about what's happening in the ecosystem or the community and upgrades to the project. I'm just not that guy. I have seen a lot of people talking about ICP over the years. You know, but I'm not the right person, man. If you have any other question, I'd love to, you know, answer that for you. But I'm just not the guy, really. I can't add any value. And I don't think, you know, you're not here for guesses or estimations. And that's all it would be. You should interview 24 Hours Crypto. All right, Richard, I'll reach out to him, see if he's interested. I know there's a few smaller channels actually that I've been looking at reaching out and see if I can support them. You know, when my channel was growing, you know, there wasn't a lot of big channels that reached out to me that were interested in, you know, kind of supporting my work. And I would kind of like to be there for some of those channels that are experiencing some growth, but could use a boost. I think there's a lot of really smart, you know, cool people that we could bring on, and I'm working on that. WH, good to see you. How's it going? Yeah, people like Tangem, people like IllyPal. You know, it really just kind of comes down to what you like. What does Paul think about Jake Claver? I don't know, man. I think we didn't really talk about Jake. Like, we didn't have a discussion. We spoke for a few minutes before, and then we went right into the interview, and we didn't really bring up Jake. We talked about it in the interview a bit, but that's it, dude. Just, I'm not, you know. Let's see here. Dose of Vistitus. Hey, Sensei, appreciate all the content information you put out. What do you think of Aptos? Seems like a good project. Yeah. So Facebook, right? Ex-Facebook employees built Aptos, I believe. I think it's, let me pull it up. I think it has a great community behind it. You know, it's kind of hurting just like everything else is. but 2.65 billion. You have highs back here in 2024, $18. I mean, I think most of these crypto projects are suffering from the same thing we're all suffering from, is there's not a lot of liquidity in the market. I think a lot of retail's money has been blown on, meme and community projects. A lot of money has been lost. I think institutions are going to be looking at, like, if Aptos has some ETFs and things like that coming up, that could be pretty big. If you really want to focus on like what is going to have big moves in the short term, look at the institutional adoption and demand. That's where a lot of this new money is going to come from. Okay, so like here, let's look this up here. Let's look this up together. Give me a list of ETF digital assets that will have ETF approvals in the next 6 to 12 months. XRP, Solana, Cardano, Litecoin, Polkadot, Hedera, Avalanche, Dogecoin. So like these tokens are probably going to have the most movement because the most amount of money can go into them through these products. All right. But there's also, a lot of other products that are going to be introduced. I'd imagine like Sui and Aptos and a few other ones will probably get there eventually. But in the short term, it's probably the ones I had up on the screen that are going to benefit the most from the institutional adoption. Curtis, man, you brought us back to I don't know, elementary school on that one, dude. You brought us way back on that, Curtis. Yeah, XLM will be hot. Absolutely. Russell Niche has got it. Yeah, if you're trading if you're trading on decentralized exchanges, you do not want to trade where all your crypto is. You want to separate your crypto from the rest of what you're doing. So if you're trading on like MetaMask or on Phantom, whatever these wallets that you're using, you're only wanting to trade what you're willing to, risk and lose, right? The rest of your crypto, you want to keep separated, not connecting it to anything ever other than to buy and sell. Yeah, Tom, I'd love to help you out, Tom. All the stuff that you've done, the time that you've spent here. If there's something that I can help you with, man, I'm your guy. All right. I will tell you if I can. If I can't, I'm going to tell you that too. I appreciate you. Thank you, Snowy. I appreciate you, man. Cheeky Crypto, you and Cheeky Crypto should have an interview. All right, I'm gonna take a picture of this. I'm gonna reach out to Cheeky Crypto. Is that the British guy, the English guy? Is that? I think I know. Promote the 100K followers reward. I don't know, man. Like I don't. The 100K followers is something I'm extremely proud about it. I can't tell you like how much time and energy and how many times that like I could have given up on this whole thing. Like it was just something I've been so passionate about, and it's just incredible to see the response from people. And I know that other people are hard at work trying to do something very similar. And if I can help them in any way, I'm interested in doing that. Absolutely. Yeah, man, I hear you. CMDR says the government shutdown delaying ETFs is annoying. Yeah, man, I feel you on that. David from Digital Outlook will not do an interview. I don't know. I had him on, we did a like a mini like crypto event last year where we talked about different subjects, XRP being one of them. And I believe David from Digital Outlook was there with Verson from Black Swan Capitalists. I'll reach out to David and see if he's interested in coming on. What is your financial background? Your name? I do not have a financial background. I think kind of like Jake. Jake was insurance salesman, right? Before he got into crypto, something like that. I was real estate agent. So no financial background at all. I had to teach myself everything I know. And I didn't go to school for it. YouTube, AI, Google, tens of thousands of hours of research. That's it, man. Bro, there's nothing wrong with used car salesmen, man. Like, those people are hard workers. Those people are hard workers. But I hear what you're saying. I appreciate that, Monica. I appreciate that. People are excited, and I know like a lot of people follow the same, and it is what it is. But I appreciate you, Monica. Thank you. Ondo to $20 in 2 years. It feels like it could happen faster than that, though, Richard, doesn't it? Feels like it could happen faster, right? What is it, a 20x from where we are right now? Ondo? Oh, 80 cents. Man, talk about a deal. Oh, snap. Here, let me put it up on screen. Here we go. 80 cents for Ondo. Man, I feel like it's one of those where you need to like find a duffel bag of money, on the street or something, so you can just buy everything that you want to buy. Love cheeky crypto. All right, Trevor, I'll reach out, man. WDMA, thank you very much. Yeah, I was I can't tell you like how much I was studying before the interview. Like the interview was set up like maybe a few weeks ago. And I was working through the previous weekend, not this last weekend, but the weekend before. I was on my laptop Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I was in the zone, man. I wanted to make sure that there's a lot of things we didn't talk about too. And I may make a video about that. Like, there was a few things that I wanted to discuss around XRP that we just didn't have the time, because we were talking about all of these different things. And like, I really wanted to go in depth on XRP, and we touched on a few topics, but I really wanted to go harder. Trigger me, Elmo. What's up? British coffee dropping guy. All right. I think I know who you're talking about. Oh my God. Richard says he stopped watching Cheeky. He was too cheeky. Tony Edwards would be a good interview. I'll reach out. I think my channel was too small for him. I did reach out to him maybe like a year ago. And at the time, I think I had like 30 or 40,000 subscribers, and he just wasn't interested. I don't even know if he responded to my comment. Let me look. Tony Edwards. Let me look here. Tony Edwards. Yeah, he's got 100. Yeah. He's never responded to anything I've asked him. Yep. I just looked. I've sent him messages for over a year, and he never responded to one message. So can't help that, man. I appreciate that. Noe from Nampa. Where's Nampa? Noe. Anytime, my friend. I'm glad you're learning. Great to have you, man. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate you. I will bring you the scoop every day, man. Every time. Oh my God. So speaking of this, my wife and I were going, like, I've been in sales, my whole life. Like, I was in real estate, I was in the car business for a while, finance, desking deals, that type of stuff. And I respect a good salesman, or a good saleswoman. And like my wife was looking for jeans before we were going on our trip, and we went to this like outdoor mall here in Hawaii. And I was walking around, I was looking for something to do, I was looking for something to buy, I was bored. And this lady just like pulled me into this store. It was like a store with all of this tech, it kind of felt like what is that, like iBrooks or whatever, those stores that have like all these like weird technology things that you really don't need, but they're really expensive. Anyway, so she's like, she saw I had an iPhone because I was like texting or something. And she's like, oh, do you need a battery? Do you need a phone case? Do you need she would not let me go. And like, she tried to sell me the entire store within like 5 minutes. I eventually ended up buying something because I was like, oh my God, I ran into a real salesperson. But you don't run into many like, people that just claw onto you and don't let go. And I'll admit at the time I was like, all right, she was good. She was good. Broderick Robinson's, you give real information. That's why I stay on your channel. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Crypto Revenge, man. Thank you for the kind words, dude. I really appreciate that, man. I'm a chill dude. Hey, we made it. We made it. And we got a seal. And we have, see, this is a new seal. Did anyone notice that seal? That's a new seal. So this one, my wife got me for my birthday. Says, are you seal seriously? Are you seriously awesome? I don't know. My wife buys me the weirdest things. This thing, I got this thing in Brazil. It's a capybara. You know what a capybara is? I didn't either, but this is very popular. I don't know. I don't have a cool desk. Jay says he's worried about stable coins and the downward spiral of fiat currencies. Well, stable coins probably are going to stabilize a lot of that, right? I think we're all worried about our dollar or whatever currency that you have. We're all worried about it not going as far. I think in the last 5 years, since 2020, the US dollar has lost 25% of its buying power. It's not good. And this is why people choose, your Bitcoins and your XRPs. As the dollar diminishes, the value of those assets goes up. That's why gold is going up and silver and these types of things. Did you provide the link to the interview? I don't know what we're talking about here. Yeah, I definitely like, if you are ADHD, or if you have somebody like your significant other or your family member that has ADHD, that we tend to lose stuff. And like, if we're not very interested in something, it's very hard to keep our attention on that. And, but it does allow you to become very hyper-focused on something. And I think that's kind of what allows me to spend as much time constantly on this as I can. And I think, I think we have fun. I think we have fun doing it. Free speech. I saw your comment. On the in the comment section. I responded to you. Thank you. Brookstone, Shaka. That's the store I was talking about. Thank you, man. Oh man, I'm Shaka. That's exactly what I was talking about. Brookstone. That's what I was looking for. Sensei, YouTube idea for you. Custom katana with XRP on the sheath. You can put on the wall. That sounds crazy. Where am I going to get that? I don't know about having sharp objects around me, man. Like, that could be bad. I'd probably bump into it and like, it could be bad, dude. It could be real bad. You don't want sharp objects around me. I'll bump into them. Oh, a link to the Paul Barron interview. Sorry, like I'm lost. Yes, here. Sorry. I was thinking like, are they asking me if he sent me a link to the interview? Like, my bad. My bad. Curtis says, Sensei, I'm the ADHD in my relationship and my miss messaged me earlier. The bins are by the door because if they aren't in the way, I won't remember to take them out when I get home. Yeah, like I have to some things that I've done, like every time I leave the house before I close the door, I have to like remember to check to see if I have the keys, because I'll often like walk out without the keys. But yeah, man, like I will forget a lot of stuff, and it can be frustrating. And it's very hard to keep your attention on something. But it does make us very incredible thinkers, and a lot of it can lead to being outgoing, and people like you because you can kind of keep up with different conversations. And usually a lot of ADHD people are very highly intelligent, and I think it's just something we deal with in life, right? I've been a little weird since a kid, right? And so just something you grow into. My dad always says that I would, when I got older, it would be not as bad. I don't know if he was just lying to me as a kid, because it stayed pretty bad the whole time, but all good. I appreciate that, Jay. Thank you, man. Oh my God, I know. Door frames, dishwashers. I bump into the coffee table. I bump into this table, like, and this is why I don't have this many things on this table, because like I'll have to go turn, like I'll go turn on this light in the corner, and I'll bump in and everything falls. All good though. Yeah, intelligent, creative, absolutely. Have I ever done shrimp? I have not actually. It's pretty strange being from California too. Like you would think, being from California and growing up in the 90s and early 2000s. But yeah, I've never done that. Other things, but not that. Scott, I hold on. I don't know who I was talking to earlier. Said he came from the insurance sector. Bachelor in Business from North Texas, 2012 to 2015. His formal training focused on finance. Later, certification, qualified family office professional in corporate finance fundamentals. It's in finance. It's not in banking, but all good. Yeah, California is big, man. California is, I think, the fourth largest economy in the world, and it's a state, right? It's one state in the United States. And I think there's like 42 million people in California. Very diverse group of people. And it's gone through some hard adjustments over the last maybe 10, 20 years. San Francisco used to be, really, really a beautiful, and there's a lot of homelessness and people that can't afford to stay there, and a lot of, drug problems and things like that. But, when you have 42 million people in a state, you're gonna get some people that are going through some hard things in life, and some of those people don't want treatment, and some of those people don't want help, and what do you do with all of those people? It's very, very hard, man. I wouldn't want to be like the governor of California or somebody in charge. I think that's a really hard job. Yeah, see, I don't know, man. Maybe if he ever agrees to come back and do an interview, we can ask him. One day he might. One day he might, or he might not. I don't know. Yeah, San Francisco used to be nice. I don't know about that WDMA. I don't know, man. I think when I look at somebody like a governor or senator or congressperson, it's really hard to look at one decision, like one vote or one decision that they made and say like this person is inherently bad or good because of that one decision. I feel like you have to look at everything that they've done. And has that been for the good or the detriment of either that state, that county, or that country? And we all get wrapped up in issues like immigration or inflation or whatever it is, right? And it's that one issue that decides the rest of how we think about somebody. And it's I've had to adjust the way that I think about certain individuals and try to look at the bigger picture of what this person is offering. So I get we can be frustrated about one or two things, but I think overall, has the person been good or bad for that particular state or country? It's hard to determine. You have to do that yourself. Yeah, I mean, well, I can tell you that San Francisco is not like a freaking party in the wintertime. It can be cold, man. Like it can get into the 40s and 30s in some places. And you got a lot of rain, and it's not a party, man. It's a hard life to live on those streets in California, in the Bay Area. Now, it might be a little better closer to the border, right? Like San Diego, LA. It might be a little warmer. But it is still, living on the street. You see a lot of people here in Hawaii, like, cause you do have the weather is 75 or 73 to 85 almost every day. And so you do have people living on the street, like right outside, like right on the beach, in the park across the street from where I live. Like there's a lot of homelessness living here. What's up, Hailstorm? Great to see you. Great to see you. Always a pleasure, my friend. Golden rule always. Yeah, WDMA. I don't know anything about that, man. That sounds a little crazy. Dude, he is trolling him hard. I was always hit or miss with Gavin Newsom, but like, man, some of the stuff that he's doing right now is freaking hilarious. I don't know, man. It's kind of funny, bro. Pork adobo is really good. Let's eat pork adobo for dinner. It's time. Jen, great to see you. I hope you're doing well, Jen. Always nice to see you in the comments. It really is. Scott, hash prominence? Yeah, man. We can take a look at it. I don't know, man. If Jake likes it, gotta ask Jake why he likes it, dude. I don't know, man. Masterclass, Jay. I like you, Jay. I like you. So the Gudge is saying is the SEC delaying everything because of the shutdown. So we did bring this up earlier, Gudge, and thank you for kind of re-engaging the topic here. Right now, the SEC and the government is running with minimal staff. And because of that, ETFs are delayed. Now, because of the generic listing standards, Can the SEC approve ETFs even in a government shutdown? I guess you don't want to say it never can be done. It's a possibility, but in the past, during shutdowns, it's been harder to approve products like this. I don't know if the new generic listing standards will change that. It's really hard to know, but we'll find out here in the next few weeks. We have people living on the streets here in Alaska all winter long. Damn, that is crazy, man. Oh, hey, did you see that new show on Apple? What is it? The Frontier or something, where the plane crashes full of convicts and it's in Alaska? I started watching that. It's pretty good. So high energy reviews and investments. What's up, dude? Bitcoin can possibly be a Russian Trojan horse. I don't know about that, dude. I don't know about that. But hey, I guess anything's possible, my man. I guess anything's possible. It would be catastrophic if Russia had control of the Satoshi wallet, right? The real question is, do you think they could have sat on the money for this long? I don't know about that, man. That's a hard bridge for me to cross. But you never know, dude. Sensei, I think the bull market is over. What do you think? It's hard for me to imagine that the music stopped. It's hard for me to imagine. I mean, you have all of this institutional demand that's just starting to come in. You have rates that are being dropped right now, cheaper money. Usually people are more aggressive with risk on assets as money gets cheaper. It's so hard for me to imagine that we're all just going to go back to our 9-to-5s and forget about the crypto market for a few years. I don't think it's quite done. Now, has certain tokens maybe hit their top and won't be able to achieve higher highs? That's a possibility. But I mean, you still have, some of the more educated people that have been in crypto the last 10 years, since Bitcoin's early days, Arthur Hayes, the gentleman, Tom Lee, right? They all believe Bitcoin's still going to 150 to 250,000. Hard to imagine that the market is over. I personally don't think it is. I think there's still money to be made here. And I think it's still going. Let's see here. Hailstorm. Sensei, with the flash sale that happened on last Friday and all the trouble that people had buying, how do we getting ready for what is the opposite when massive green days? What are your thoughts? So it does show that there are problems with the current centralized infrastructure, that they cannot handle the sudden demand, whether it's good demand or bad demand. What we do know for certain is that DEXs worked while centralized exchanges stopped working. So I would get used to using a decentralized exchange, whether that's 1inch or Uniswap or Hyperliquid, whatever it is. That is the infrastructure that's going to work on major stress tests for the industry. Until centralized exchanges can get their infrastructure figured out, that's where you should be focusing a little bit of your time and preparing just in case. Because I did spend a lot of time researching this, and that was the infrastructure that still worked. Oh, Jen, you're awesome. Thank you so much, Jen. I really appreciate you. You guys want to say hi? Here, I'll get her. Oh, hold on. Come on, Bubba, say hello. Come on. Oh, yes, we're sleeping. Here we go. You want to say hello to people? Say hello. I was taking a nap and you woke me up. Right? Yes. You want to say hello? We don't like cameras in our face. Should we get this out of your way? What are we doing? Yes. Oh, we're tired, Dad. We're tired. Oh, I want to lay down, Dad. Everyone's saying hello to you. Do you want to say hi? Hmm? Who is that? Can you see that doggy? Is that you? You're so pretty. Yes. Okay. All right. We're almost done here. Okay. Anything else you want to say to the audience? Okay. There we go. Thank you for the support, guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. XRP and Sensei will make your dreams come true. Running on a private island with no leash. That would be pretty cool, man. She loves the sand. She loves running on the beach, man. We cannot control her on the beach. She is crazy. When you talk about Luna, you sound like John Travolta, and look who's talking too. I don't know. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Lunas are always invited to the party. Anybody at home with a pet named Luna, you are a different breed of amazing human being. But anybody at home with a dog or cat or any kind of animal, you are still an awesome person. Just anybody with Luna, even better. Let's see here. Mr. Garcia, why does the price you predict in each of your videos constantly changing? Information is constantly changing, as well as YouTube. You know, the algorithm on YouTube wants to see different things too. But, you know, I still believe that XRP will be worth a lot more than it is, you know, today in the future. I think it's going to be, you know, double digits before you know it, triple digits. I think eventually it'll hit 4 or maybe even 5 digits, depending on adoption. How quickly that happens, I don't know, man. I don't have a crystal ball. But thank you for your question, man. I mean, hard to say, hard to put out a video every day that says XRP to $3, you know, especially when we're talking about the future and adoption, and depending on like what time scale we're talking about, it'll change, man. You can definitely come. If there's a Luna in your family, right? Anywhere connected, distant cousin, you're still good. Tomorrow is the day federal employees are supposed to get paid. Rumor is Trump has some big news tomorrow. So, I mean, you would hope. I mean, if you're asking for my personal opinion on the shutdown, I don't think they've made very much effort to go negotiate some of the points that Democrats are pushing right now. So I don't think there's a solution. I mean, you can announce. I mean, they just gave $20 billion to Argentina. Like that's pretty crazy. You just bailed out Argentina. Farmers need a bailout. Government workers need a bailout. But we gave $20 billion to Argentina. Like there's some things that he's going to have to talk about and answer for. That's going to be some tough conversations for people. So, you know, Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. They're in control. You can say it's the other side, but realistically, you have the power to negotiate. Negotiating in good faith. We'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. Canon Grace would be a good interview. All right, I'll have to check out who this person is. Yeah, man, I think it's very complicated, you know, but it seems like what from what I've understood is Democrats want Republicans to come up with some type of funding for the Medicaid's cuts, right? The $1 trillion in cuts for people's health insurance is going to get more expensive. And like, what I listened to Marjorie Taylor Greene the other day, and she kind of laid out that they don't really have a solution. Republicans don't have a solution for the healthcare problems. And so I don't know what to believe. Like, do you believe Mike Johnson, who says that they do have some type of plan, but haven't been able to give any information on the plan? I don't know. Who do you believe? And I don't know which side is going to budge first. You know, there's a lot of families that are going to be hurt in between. It's very complicated. It's very sad. Is that what he's going to announce? Yeah, I don't particularly like Johnson too much. The crazy part is, like, you know, anytime like you're saying something to any public and then like they can fact check you in real time, like, I don't know, man. I think I was pretty surprised with some of the stuff that Marjorie Taylor Greene said, and I thought that maybe she's going to run for president in 2028 or whatever. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene's going to run for president personally on the Republican side. I don't know. She's just sounding like, oh, wow, like it hit, right? I think she's seeing in real time that her kids are struggling and there's not a lot of solutions. And I think there's a lot of people that are in the same position as her kids are, that are living paycheck to paycheck. It's hard to afford insurance. It's hard to afford rent. It's hard to do all of these things. And, you know, one of the biggest bills that were passed this year gave trillions of dollars in tax cuts to the top, 10, 20% of people. It's hard to imagine that that's not going to have some type of impact on people going forward. So I don't know, politics is a difficult subject and people feel very passionate about both sides. And I think we all just need to realize that we're all, especially here in America, we're all Americans, regardless of what we believe, whether it's crazy or real or our friend doesn't know what, like, we're all the same people. And it's been kind of scary. I'll be quite frank with you. I'm a little worried when I take a look around. Is that going to get better? I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyways, listen, I appreciate your time, guys. I appreciate your questions. I just want to thank Tom for the $10. I want to thank Jen for the $4.99, Hellstorm for the $5, and the Versatile for the $2 donations to the channel, guys. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you for your support. We're living in a complicated time, and I will do my best to give you the information that I think is relevant and that can help you in the days to come. Thank you for watching the channel. Thank you for the love, the support, the donation. Thank you for everything and your time. It's extremely valuable. I want to thank Curtis. I want to thank Ariana. I want to thank LAX. Everybody who shows up every single stream and every single day to watch content. My heart goes out to you. Thank you. All right. I'll see you guys on Friday. All right. Thank you. Bye.